Hello, welcome you all again in the machine learning using Python tutorial series. So in the number of tutorial series we have already gone through the different libraries and the different simple kind of a programming examples. Among them we could be able to understand how we can just analyze the data, how we can change the data, how we can manipulate the data and find out the different kind of analysis. In this tutorial, we are going to have a combinational effect of all the different libraries with the help of one simple example to study. So let's begin. So those are new and watching this video first time, so I'm just making them sure that they can start working in the Google Colab options. So those are interested to work in a Python, the Google Colab is an open source platform where you can write your programs, where you can have all the programmings to be compiled. So this is available at all the places. Meanwhile, those are working with the Jupyter as well as the spiders or the Python itself platform, they can work. It's not an issue. So here I'm choosing this one. They can work on the same one. Almost all these scripts are common in all the platforms. So let's begin with the Google Colab. So first of all, just open the Google Colab. So while you'll be finding this Google Colab option here, just go. So while this time I'm just going to create new notebook for finding out the examples. So here I'm just creating a new notebook. So first of all, I'm just giving a name of this new notebook as an example one. So as a first example, depending upon all the libraries and the function we have already talked about. So we have a target to study, example of data analysis using Pandas, Numpy, Matplotlib, Seaborn, so while we are just having all these one, we are going to do all this in the same program. We try to find out the one simple program here. So those are finding difficulties and wish to understand more about that. In the tutorial series, we have a separate videos related with the Pandas, Numpy, Matplotlib and Seaborn. So let me have a very simple example to make all the combinational effect, how we can utilize them to create our own program, to create our own data analysis for the purpose of machine learning. So whenever you're just going to start a program, you just connect this Google Colab with the local server. While meanwhile it is being connected, let's have a new code. And first of all, it is required to import all the libraries. So we are going to import all these libraries by simply typing import. If suppose you want to call the Pandas, so we are just calling Pandas as PD. Then we can import the next file, import Numpy, we are calling Numpy as an NP. Simply you can go for the Matplotlib. As PLT, and importantly you can have this plot also. You have to go for as PLT. So I have just called all these one. So lastly I'm just calling import Seaborn as, you may call it as SN or SP depending upon you. So here basically we have called all the libraries in which we are going to work. So now it is the time to call up the data. So this is the most important part. If you are practicing, you may have any kind of a data for the analysis purpose, but if specifically you are working and you try to utilize this Python programming for a specific analysis of your data, then there is a requirement to get your data in a certain format. So your data can be in the form of your text, maybe in the form of some Excel sheets, maybe into the form of CSV files. Any form of your data may be utilized here. So here I'm just taking one simple example to use the data which is into the form of CSV file. So taking another line, so we have to go for from google.colab. So we have to from google.colab we have to go for calling the file. How we can call up the file? So we have to go for google.colab. Simply type in google.colab and go for import files. This is basically a command. It is helping you to access your Google Colab platform with the file libraries. Now simply you can go for files dot upload. Here you can give the path of a particular file. You can provide a particular path, that file will be uploaded here, or if you wanted to choose your file as per your thing where it is being located, you can just simply type files.upload. So let's run this and check out where do we have the files. So by this you can easily choose your file wherever it is being stored. So I have a different kind of a data sets. Among them I'm simply choosing a simple data set here from my file set. It is wine shop CSV. I'll show you what are the heads over there. So it shows that it has been done. Now I wish to check what kind of a data I have just taken from here. So I have to go for now reading of this data. So see which particular library will help you to see this data. So we have here. So this file has been uploaded. Now I'm just going for the next code line to read this. So I'm just defining some value to it. Like I'm simply just taking a function df to define this one. Now there is a utilization of the PD read underscore CSV. So whatever the file you have, you may have an extension of this one. As my file name is a wine.csv, so I'm going to read this one. So this is my file. I'm going to read this out. And for that, if you want to check what kind of a file it is, you have to go for df.head and making a parenthesis. So this can be run up here. Now let's check out what kind of a data I do have. So in this example, I have just taken a basically wine shop data, wine data. It means what are the contents of in a wine that are being just taken. So different kind of a combination has been taken. See, the data can be anything. I have just taken a simple data to make you understand what kind of an analysis can be done and where in general things where we generally do not think about that. Here a kind of an analysis may be required, but everywhere in the industry it is being used. Just taking an example of simple liquor industry in which a basic composition of the wine is to be taken into the consideration through the data analysis. So here we have basically this data analysis, like how much percentage of alcohols are here, what is the malic acid and ashes, and definitely multiple quantities are to be taken up here. So all these are being shown up here. So it is to be taken, what are the customer segment, whom it is to be given, and all these things are here. So it may be possible this kind of a composition may be given to the first kind of a customer and so on. So this df.head showing initial values of this data. So this data is too long. Just only the 4 to 5 heads initially has been shown with the help of this df.data. If you wanted to check all these data and wanted to get the relationship between them, then further we can go for plotting off. So exactly you wanted to check how many rows and columns are there in data, what kind of a data size it, you can go simply for print df. So this is gonna be to print basically the whole data set here. Now it tells you it has basically 178 rows. It means the data starts from 0 to 177. It has a 178 rows and 14 different aspects. So these are the basically complexity of the data we have here. So let's see an example. Now we have just taken an example of the Pandas library that can help you to find out the data. The data can be checked out, what is basically the shape of the data, how we can print up the data. Everything is possible here in the Pandas library. So those are interested to deal with the more with the Pandas, they can watch the previous videos. So now we have just taken up the data with the help of this Pandas. Now we are going for the second attribute, which is the Matplotlib library. Let's see what happens in that. So suppose that we wish to find a plot between this, then any kind of a thing which is to be here. Among them, we are just trying to find out the relationship. What is the relationship between the malic acid and suppose anything else we are looking for, maybe in the ashes. So we can have, so like just take an example, we try to find out the relationship between the malic acid and ash. So we have to go using the Matplotlib library. This is giving the plot, and now the attributes are open. You can easily go for printing of what? It is malic acid underscore acid. You have to go for this, take care about the name. Then after, in what you're looking for, the second is to be taken as the ash. How much ash is to be added here? And in this category, we look to find out what is the data set from which you are taking up. So data set is basically nothing but a data. So let's check it out. What is the relationship comes up in between these two? Wow. Immediately we are having a great puzzle here. So this is what exactly the relationship between these two. And similarly, using the Matplotlib library, you can easily provide its axis as well as the y-axis, title, legend, mark, everything is there. If you go for the Matplotlib tutorial, you will find out a lot of options how you can decorate or represent your graph in different way. So let's make this particular chart a bit interesting. We can have this like creating, instead of giving a line, let's we have a red color using basically O dots. I'm sorry, we have to go for this comma. That's will be working. See, now it is much interesting here. So now you can easily find out what exactly the values for finding out when the ashes are here. With respect to ashes, what is the percentage quantity or the quantity of the malic acid here. So this is now a beautiful representation. So it depends upon you how you are going to represent your data. So it seems better here as compared to previous line chart. Similarly, so here you can just change a lot of things like typing it here blue. You can easily go for this. So this can be created. If you're looking to find out to create the caps here, that can easily be created. So the data will be in the form of cap. Similarly, we have an option for the squares too. We can go for like this, creating in squares and changing the color, creating green and making it dot shape. This is all up here. So this is basically what the beauty of the Matplotlib. And finally, we are just having a different kind of a presentation that seems good to make the others understandable, and the analysis will be far better. Let's create another analysis of this one. Suppose we wish to have a three different kind of analysis in a single column. Then we are going for the subplot option. So now we wish to have let's subplot how it can be created. So first of all, we should go for plot dot subplot. Now we are having a subplots, and let's start what are the basically the figure size and different kind of a figures we are looking for. So let's make, we have one column, one row, three column, and plus we have the first figure of this one. What we can have, let we try to find out the plot into the form of some bar charts. So let's begin with this. Simply you type here and just mention it here. So now we have a plot dot bar. So you can easily provide the two variables in which we are looking for. Let's see, we are having the same one. it's a malic acid. And the second one is the same as ash. And third, you may have a defining of your data. It is nothing but a data equals to df. So let's create the first subplot 131. It means first row, which has basically the 3 columns, and among them 3 columns we are just giving it the position as first. Let's run it out. Well done. So moreover, you can just create some changes also. If suppose this kind of a bar chart is being come up and you want to just find out distinguish among them, you can change your width also. So I'm just typing and giving an option of creating this width as 0.1 and colors to be changed as red. So now finally we have this basically the bar plot chart. Similarly, let's repeat it out and find out the same one for the different thing. I'm just copying cell and pasting it up here. I'm sorry, this is being repeated. Deleting it up because we wanted to get the same one from the same line. So just get it from the Control X here. And get it copied here. So I just copied this data, but this time I'm just changing this because it's a figure subplot 1 for the row 1 column 3rd, but giving indexing it is a 2. Now I'm just changing it for 2, and instead of just creating this graph for the malic acid, we can have the same for the alcohol, and in between the ash. Now see, we have basically the 2 diagram. The second you can change in the color of blue to distinguish. So it's basically first and the second one. Now going for the third one, this can be repeated up here, but this time if you're looking to make it more one, so you can go for it is to be 3-1. And now we have another heads to get the result between them. So we have a customer segments. So third is what? The customer segment. I'm just copying this completely here. And try to finding out customer segment with respect to the ash. Let's see what kind of a third figure I will be getting here. This is what we have basically 3 customer segment that can be changed. Here you can change your width from 0.1 to 0.5, and the color may be taken up something else. Let's say I'm just taking the green. Well, this is a basically analysis, easy analysis with the help of a Matplotlib. So now we can easily get what is the basically customer segment having a what kind of a malic acid combination or the ashes combination, and with respect to, suppose we are talking about the alcohol, what are these combination, and with respect to we are talking about the malic acid, what is basically combination of ashes. So that can be plotted into the form of easy bar analysis charts. This is basically the attribute of the PyPlot Matplotlib chart. Now we are going to work for Seaborn Library. The same data figure how it can be represented with the help of Seaborn Library. So that we have to go. So we have to check it out first how we are just taking it. So suppose that we have just taken it as SN. So this is basically a short form. You may have it's your SNS also. Anything you can just provide. So let's say I've just taken a Seaborn as SNS, or maybe taken as SN. So I'm just defining something because I'm just going to get a plot related to the wine shop. So I'm just defining any name to it, keeping it as W, and as I have just given ascent, so now dot, because I've already defined this. Now what we have, we are looking to find out the relation plot. So this is basically the relation plot. So we have to define basically what is the x-axis. So let's say on x-axis I have first as alcohol, that's now defining this y-axis. On the y-axis, let's say I have an ashes, then we are defined on the what basis we are going to create the columns. So let's column to be created on the basis of the customer segment that we have already created. So one can easily define on what basis you are looking to find out the column. We have just taken as a customer segment. So here in this figure we have just taken W as a plot, and we have just gone for this ascent relational plot, RELPLOT, giving x-axis as alcohol, y-axis as an ash, giving column. It means on what basis the column being created. So customer segment has been given, hue has been given on the basis of color intensity, and more you can give for looking for some sizes you want to give a different kind of a size that can be given up here. So what is the size of this? If the customer segment is to be taken to the care, that can be given, ashes size can be given, anything may be represented. We'll add on it later. And most importantly is most important, so just define what you have just taken as initially data equals to, it is the df1. So let's try it out how it actually looks like. See how much interesting it is. So we have basically the three customer segments, segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, and we have basically these are the color intensities. So all for the color intensity, the different color aspects has been given, that is to be taken into consideration. On this axis we have just taken the alcohol, here we are just taking the ashes, and the plots are given. So it is just giving a complete relationship between 13% of alcohol with respect to what is the content of the ashes to be conducted, that all are given up here. So you may change anything here, you may create in your data anything on the basis of this analysis can be done, or you may have the different basically color intensity as a column. So let's see what else we are going to have. Just creating, instead of this hue, let's say we are just creating column as a color intensity and changing this one. So I am simply interchanging these two. So this is to be used as a col, and here is to be taken as hue. Let's check it out, how does it looks like. It's taking time because it is going on the basis of the analysis created to the customer segment, and the column are being created on the basis of color intensity. So you see here what an output. So it has been started on the basis of the color intensity from 1.28, 1.74, 1.9. What is the color intensity of the wine? And all of them on the respect of the alcohol and the ashes, these plots are being created. See how many plots are there. So you aren't doing anything, your Python is working so hard for you, and it is creating lot of kind of analysis for you. So here if you see, the large analysis has already been done to really get all these scores. So exactly this is what I wish to tell you, that everything is possible depending upon a data kind of an analysis. The Python is working on that area. This is your data, this is your analysis, this is your way how to present this. So this is what exactly the importance of the beauty of the Python. Among them, as I have already talked about. Among them, basically the Numpy is an option to create the in-between insertion of a data. Like in between you wanted to create, suppose that you want to create your own array of data, already data is being presented, then what you can do. So here this creation and the solving of this data will be helped by the Numpy array. Let's take an example of this one. Let's take an example of utility of Numpy array, how it can be utilized. Suppose that in this program we have just taken sale per day as a variable, and the sale per day as a variable I have just taken a set of data using a Numpy array as and creating linear spacing. So I'm just taking Numpy array as np dot linspace, and then I'm just giving some variables to it. So what the variables I'm just giving? I'm just giving 0 to 500 and giving 178 values to it, because I already have another attributes, and then I'm trying to put all this into the figure to calculate the values of basically plotting relationship between the sale per day with respect to the alcohol quantity. So we have another attribute of the alcohol. Now I'm just going to plot this with respect to sale underscore per day. So this is my first x-axis attribute. On the y-axis attribute I'm just taking alcohol and from the data set of df. So this has been created. So basically the first, using the Numpy array, I have just created the basically linear spaced values of 178. That values tells me that we have some sale per day, and this I wish to find out, depending upon the values of the alcohol contents, does it have any effect on sale. So we have a linear spacing of the sale and we have alcohol. Let's see what is the relationship comes between these two. So this is what the target to understand. So let's run this out. So fine, this is what exactly the values of. Finally, from 0 to 500, sale per day varies with respect to, when the alcohol contents are too high, then obviously the sale is too good because the quality has become so good. Then after it got on decreasing depending upon this value, and somewhat the variation comes up with respect to thing. So this is just only an example and illustration of a data that I have created with the help of using Numpy array. So Numpy has been created. You wanted to check this data, you have another option to go for this. Go and RO, I have already told about you, and this can be represented into more illustrative way. This is what basically the representation. So ultimately in this tutorial we have just gone through all the utilities of Numpy, how we can relate the Numpy with the Pandas library and the available data. We have gone for the Pandas utility, we have gone for the Matplotlib, as well as we have gone through the beauty of the Seaborn libraries. So with the help of that, you can easily utilize your data. With the help of all these libraries function, you can incorporate your data analysis in the way you're looking for. I hope so. You all might be liking this video and you would be really able to create your own data analysis. So here we have definitely a great creation of all the creativity we wish to have here. So meanwhile, thank you very much for watching this video. Keep learning, keep getting more on Pythons, keep getting more on machine learning. So in next tutorial we'll have another example, another way to understand more about that, how else we can have the different attributes of all these libraries and functions.